All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys being on here. This, for everybody in the United States, it's a holiday. If you guys live in different countries, you're not celebrating Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the day we celebrate for the people who have sacrificed their lives to give us as Americans the freedom that we love to celebrate, and um, arguably the ones that most people don't even realize how good we have it, and they do nothing with it. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't be so negative. I think people don't realize how good we really have it, and don't actually show the actions that they appreciate it by taking advantages of all the freedoms we actually do have, by creating a life that is meaningful and that is exciting and something that is fun, rather than just trying to do the status, just like getting by and being average. I think average is a form of entitlement and a form of whatever the opposite of appreciation is. What's the opposite of appreciation? I think entitlement is probably a good word for that. Um, but if you really appreciate something, you actually will, your actions will show your appreciation, right? By taking advantage of the resources in front of you. So, like working on a freaking Monday, it's like, oh, poor me, I gotta work on a Monday. I gotta work on a holiday. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I can't believe I gotta work that freaking holiday. What is the holiday? I don't even know what the holiday is, but I should get it off because I'm entitled. No. All right. Done. I'm done. I'm done. So, you guys ready? You guys ready to do some visioning here? So, Mesa 5-star visioning. Oh, I have a surprise for you guys. I have a surprise for you. I'm probably gonna separate this between the vision meetings. I've been getting sent this video all morning. And like right now, I'm not listening to any podcasts or anything, but my peoples are apparently, and they've been sending me a podcast that Alex had had used us in one of his podcasts. So I'll share it with you guys if you guys haven't heard it. I'll share it with you guys probably in between the Mesa and the Bozeman 5-star. So don't forget. That's actually my reminder for you guys, because as I get going, I'll probably forget that. But I think his message in there is really valuable, and I think it'll help a lot of people understand what business we're actually in. So, okay, without further ado, let's do this thing. All right. Oh, view only. What am I doing here? I'm on the wrong email. You guys have like tons of different emails. You're like under the wrong one. You're like, I don't have the permissions I need. Oh, this is Bozeman. That's why. Under the wrong. Okay. Wrong vision sheet. Okay, here we go. Mesa Vision. Katie, can you see my screen? This is the right one? Okay, I'm gonna get bigger here. All right, so this is the Mesa Vision sheet. This is your guys' first time here. This is our newest cleaning business. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are exactly 12 weeks into this business. This is our 90-day, 12-week challenge. Back in the gym day, that was one of our challenges we would sell. We would sell a 12-week transformation challenge. Katie, do you remember how much we would sell that for? Do you remember it? You're on mute.
No, I don't remember the cost, but
yeah. So we started selling for $2,000, and then by the end of it, we would sell it for $4,000. That's what we ended up. That was like the biggest we ever sold that 12-month transformation or 12-week transformation challenge for. But anyway, we did a 12-week transformation with this cleaning business from 0 to. Let me make sure I'm on the right week here. So what are we at? Okay, so last week job ticket hours 95. This number is a little skewed, and I will show you as we get down here to the JTH. It actually is probably higher than last week, and I'll show you like our data tracking versus actuality. I'll show you some of the differences in those. Cleaner average hours, same thing. This looks lower, but I'll show you the discrepancies down below. Number of cleaners, 6. It's exciting. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Projected monthly revenue. Oh, James, you didn't update this. Update this. It's not correct. Okay, I'll go look at it real quick. So the projected revenue is 22.4. So this number is 22.4. There we go. Monthly revenue, 17,000 so far. Weekly revenue, look at this. This is a PR. So last week was a PR at 5,200. This week was almost $6,000. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Revenue per clean, 197. It's a little bit lower than our goal. And the weekly total cleans was 30. So we did a lot of cleans. Some of these were really small, apparently. Yep, ZenMaid and QuickBooks. So in ZenMaid, we've billed 17,000. In QuickBooks, so far we've collected 14,000 of it. Last week, oh, these numbers, no numbers here. I need to call James. James, if I give you love, bro, I also got to call you out. I got to call you out. So if you can find these numbers, that would be amazing. Okay. So we're going back to our marketing. So I guess we could do the math on this. So if we had $38 of initial clean revenue, then that would make our weekly revenue, or our recurring client revenue, 59.15 minus 3,800. $21.15. So I should like that number. That's a good number. So the fact this number keeps going up is exciting because, again, this business is 12 weeks old. So the fact that we already have $2,000 of recurring revenue, again, as a comparison, like last week, I think was a pretty high number too. That's why our weekly revenue is high, is $2,700. That's good for this business. The week before that was $850. You see, the week before that, we replied a lot on new revenue. The week before that, we replied that was $1,500. The week before that was $900. So, for this business, if we can get in that $2,000 range, for recurring revenue, and then we continue to sell new clients, that'll continue to see this business grow. Just cool to see. Look at that. See, if I call James out, I can also give him love for fixing it right here on the call in 2 seconds. So thank you, James. I appreciate you, my friend. So our outstanding invoices less than 7 days, $1,400, greater than 7 days, $650. So that's what our outstanding invoices are looking like at the moment. Marketing. So marketing, last week, we spent $172 on Google LSA. We spent $493 on Facebook. So we spent $666. Ooh, it's a dangerous number. Last week, from Facebook, we got 34 leads, Facebook Messenger 3, Facebook Group 5, Missed Call 5, Google Local Services 2, homepage, we had 4 on our homepage, incoming call leads 4, and 6 referrals. Get some. So I mentioned this last week, but I'll mention to you guys again. These referrals, because people always want referrals, which you should, by the way. Referrals are the easiest. So a couple weeks ago, so I should back this up. If you guys are in the Building $1 Million Facebook group, there's other cleaning business owners in there, right? And so I've been able to connect with other cleaning business owners. And I'll give you the advice that I take, is that I'm looking for people who are better than me. I'm looking for people who have bigger businesses than me so I can learn from. Like, people who have bigger businesses than you, there's a high probability they know something and they do something differently than you do. And so your job is to figure out what they do, how they do it, and then you to be able to replicate that and copy that. So then you can also grow your business to be as big as theirs, or hopefully one day bigger than theirs. Now, the problem with that Building $1 Million Facebook group is most people have smaller businesses than I do. However, there are a few people in there who do bigger businesses than me, and I connected with one of those people, and her name was Sarah, and she actually has a business right here in Phoenix, Arizona, right? And so I established a relationship with her, and when we started this cleaning business down here, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to be like a referral partner? Because we actually don't serve the area that you're starting your business in very much. Like, we're focused on the other side of the valley. Although we do have a few clients in that side of the valley. Like, I would definitely be a referral partner for you if you'd be a referral partner for us." I was like, cool. Well, as of recent, they decided to pull out of this side of the valley completely, so they could actually focus 100% of their attention on just the west side of the valley. So there's 2 things to be said about that. Number one, understand that big businesses think differently than small businesses. Small businesses are like, "Oh my God, why are you giving up clients?" Ooh. And she's like, getting rid of the distractions so she can focus on growing a big old business. By the way, she's got a $2 million cleaning business. You should learn something from people who are doing bigger things than you are. And so I happen to benefit from that because I have a small cleaning business in Arizona, which we're talking about right here. And so she asked if I would basically take her clients from her and then pay her a acquisition cost to those. And we came up with a number, and I agreed. And so these referrals are all people from her client base, right? And so we had 6 referrals that we got last week, and I think we sold all of them. I think I've sold every single one so far. And I personally don't generally have a situation happen a lot, but she actually charges more than we do. So we're actually getting clients easier that pay more and that have been with them for like a very long time. Seems like a pretty good deal, right? So we actually just served, I think, 2 of those clients last week. So as we start to serve more of the clients, we'll see like if there's like, I'm sure there's going to be problems that we run into. I don't know what the problems are yet because I'm oblivious, but I'm sure we'll run into problems because if things are too easy, nothing's ever too easy. There's always a problem somewhere, and there's always something. But that's where those 6 referrals come from. But with that being said, our cost per lead is $10.57. I say this every single week. Like if you get leads for less than $20, Jesus, like you'll be just fine. Okay, you'll be just fine. So, marketing, doing good. Sales, let's talk about sales. So number of spots open, 7 days. We have 7 spots available right now. Last week, my outgoing calls number has definitely been down. That's because I just honestly haven't needed to call as many people to fill the schedule from the weeks before. I think the weeks before that, I think I had like 200, 163. Yeah, last couple weeks has been down 235, I think is my highest. So I guess 144 is not bad. I don't feel like I'm calling a lot of people, but this is what it is. Incoming calls, answered 15 incoming calls. Incoming calls missed and missed 20. Quote calls scheduled. We had 22 quote calls scheduled and 19 show. Our show rate for quote calls is really good. I performed 26 quotes and booked 17 of those. 65%. It's okay. As you can see here, my little percentages, it's good. 51 to 69%, I say is good. 70+% is great. So it's good. Initial projected revenue is $4,100. Katie came in and she had a clean 2 last week. $250, which is great. So altogether, $4,360. And then conversion calls, 2, 2, and 2. So $400. So I actually would like to see this number go up. A lot of conversions happen on Thursday and Friday, and we just haven't quite converted them yet is really what it comes down to. So some of these people will convert. Client fulfillment. We had 30 cleans last week. We have 15 reoccurring clients, 12 reoccurring clients. So out of those 30 clients, 7 were new clients, 6 were reoccurring, and then 5 were reoccurring. We had 7 new Google reviews last week, and I think we only actually had 1 correction clean. Yeah, just 1 correction. So where's that at? Yeah, 1 correction clean. Cool. So those are good numbers. Definitely the most cleans we've ever had. Cleaner acquisition. We spent $180 on Indeed last week. We had 32 applicants. I did 20 prospect calls. I only moved 3 to interviews, and only 1 showed, and I did not offer that person the job. So as you guys can see here, these numbers, I'll give you a little bit of explanation why there's such a big gap here. I've been very picky on pushing people through. Right now we have 5 solid cleaners, and Katie's kind of acting as an ad hoc 6th. And so I have a little bit of flexibility here, and I'm honestly just testing the theory of just finding amazing humans. Like I've talked a lot about it, and I haven't really been in a situation where I myself have full control over who gets let on the team or not. And so I'm basically testing a theory that if I can just find superstars, that this business will grow. Like if we can just find people, and when I say superstars, again, I said this last week, but I'll say it again. A superstar is actually definable. A superstar is somebody who is service-based first, which means they'll do anything to serve the client. Somebody who values teamwork, who will go above and beyond and actually will sacrifice their own stuff for the team. Somebody who is accountable to their actions, take responsibility for their actions, and somebody who is reliable. It means that they will follow through on their commitments. That is a star. Service, teamwork, accountable, reliable. STAR. Superstar. We're looking for superstars. Okay, so that's what I look for. I'm looking for superstars who we can add to our team. Because I believe if we have superstars, this business will grow. Because if you put a superstar in a client's home, they will want you back. So I'm being really picky because I have that opportunity right now in my business to be able to do that. So that's why I'm like not pushing a lot of people through. And so that being said, we don't have anybody. So this I took this out last week, but this was not correct. Put these guys back in here. Dang it, Logan. Yeah, so we had these guys in training last week. I took them out, but I shouldn't have. Okay, so last week, Debbie, name's Debbie, not Deborah. It's funny when you that's when you move to the next point in someone's relationship is when they opt in with Deborah and they say, call me Debbie. It's like, okay, winning. So Debbie and Savannah were both in training last week. They technically graduated. Katie and I will kind of talk about that a little bit of like our version of training. We're also testing how we train people as well. We're testing not how we train people necessarily, more than how long we keep people in training versus graduating. So we're actually testing how people graduate, and it's not just a fixed amount of time. There's actually things they need to do. So that's something that we are testing out. But these guys, they completed all 5 days, and I guess we'll see tomorrow. As long as they show up tomorrow, then hooray. They made it through the first week of training. And we actually did a little split here. So Katie did some training, but we also had Lindsay and Jocelyn both did training. So we kind of split this in half a little bit. So it was actually kind of cool. And then 5-star reviews. We have 60 5-star reviews. We've been rolling, man. Again, we didn't get 60 reviews in Bozeman 5-star till probably a couple years in. So we definitely are onto something. We have a system that is working, and we're going to continue to push on it. Last week's JTH, you can see here that Katie worked last week as a cleaner. She was doing some training. She only cleaned because she was training. And then Lindsay worked 31 hours. Jocelyn worked almost 30 hours. Ellie, she was actually off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then she worked just Thursday, Friday. And then Navy is a contractor who we used her to do Airbnb. We also had her do a Saturday clean as well. And then Debbie, change this again here, Debbie and Savannah were in training. But the truth of the matter is like after, I think, the first 2 days, so the first 2 days we didn't count their JTH, but Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we actually counted them against the JTH. So that's why I told you the JTH is a little skewed. It only says 95 because it actually, if you see here, B60, B64. So it only counts Katie to Navy. And I would say probably about half these guys' numbers were actual cleans that we actually charged the client for their cleaning. And so that's why this number is a little high, is because some of this actually is the what's the right word? Some of this JTH is billable. I'd say half this JTH is billable. So really, here's how I could solve this problem in today is I could just make one of these cleaners. There you go. So half. So yeah, so really we had 125 hours that were actually billed, and that brings the full-time cleaner average up to 20. So look at that, solving problems. Yeah, and then our revenue hours 47. That makes sense because we're charging. We started at $50 an hour, and we're slowly starting to creep it up. So, oh, that looks good. Correction clean last week. We had one correction clean. This one was an interesting one. So Jocelyn, who is one of our trainers, honestly, definitely I would say we have two best cleaners, and she's definitely one of them. And so she just literally forgot to do a room in the house. And she sent me a message after she left, and she's like, I just felt embarrassed to go back in there. And then the client actually left a review. She left a 4-star review. And she's like, the clean was great. Normally, they send 2 people or something like that, but she didn't do the living room. And so I called the client back and said, hey, do you mind if we come back tomorrow and we actually do the living room? Asked Jocelyn. She was like, yes, please, let me come back and clean it. And it literally took her 30 minutes. And she did just at the end of her shift. So it was kind of a wonky one. But we got it done. The client was happy. She had a party on Wednesday. So the initial clean happened on Monday. We did the correction clean on Tuesday, and she had a party on Wednesday. And it all worked out great. So That was our correction clean last week, and we didn't have any canceled or reoccurring. We didn't have any canceled clients. Discounts, we gave away two free clean, or we gave away two $50 cleaning vouchers. I gave away a military discount. I'll be honest with you on this one. She threw me off, right? She's like, do you offer a military discount? I just was like, yeah, 10% off. And then, so I gave her $35 off. And then one client was a strategy discount. And so this was a client we had on Wednesday last week, and I booked it for $200. And when the cleaners got there, she wanted them to do more than we had discussed over the phone. She wanted to do 2 extra bathrooms. And then the cleaner was like, hey, like this is going to take us an extra hour and a half, which equated to an extra $150 for 2 people, right? And so I called the client and said, hey, I know I initially said $200, but this is actually going to be $350, right? And she's like, well, look, I could tell she was a little disappointed, but she also didn't tell me about the 2 bathrooms. She's like, I understand the 2 bathrooms, but it's going to be an extra hour and a half. And I was like, I'm just giving you what the cleaner told me. And so she did the clean, was totally fine. Gone called her tomorrow on the next day, and I said, hey, like I took responsibility for it. It's like, hey, this is my fault. I should have double checked that this was the scope of work that you wanted to get done. So she's like, no, that was on me. I was like, no, I didn't communicate properly. And so I gave her an extra $50 off. So I took from $350 to $300. But most importantly, the reason I did it is because I knew that she had a high probability of becoming a recurrent client in every 2 weeks. And then just this morning, she booked every 2 weeks starting next Tuesday. So there was a little bit of strategy to it at the same time. And I'll be honest with you, like my personal vendetta, just like I do with everybody on here who I work with in any capacity, whether you're here for free or whether you have the fortunate ability to give me money, which not everybody can. Like I want to make sure that like the relationship is more important than the money is. And so I think that is the thing that's most important to me. And so I want to show that with my actions that the relationship is more important than money, which means that no amount of money is ever going to get between me and somebody. Like it's so silly. It's so silly. And like, so with that being said, she did not want the discount. I was like, I'm going to give it to you. Sorry. And I think by doing that, I let her know that like, I'm here for the relationship. I'm here for the long term. Right. And then she rebooked, and I still spelled discount wrong. I'm going to try to spell it again. Discount. So anyway, little strategy to it. So that's the Mesa 5-star cleaning vision sheet. And so if you guys remember, we started this business 12 weeks ago, and our goal is to hit 20,000. And you guys can see here by end of this week, looks like we're gonna probably most likely have a high probability of hitting $20,000. That'd be pretty cool. This is what we consider our stabilized goal. And then next week, I'll show you guys what our next goal is after that, right? But yeah, so pretty neat. Now, I want to show you guys, actually, let me just check the chat real quick. So before I move on, because I got to see you in the chat. Thank you guys for using the chat. Thank you guys for having your video cameras on. Make sure you guys get value from, okay, how do you guys get value from this? For anybody who's new here, or even if you're old here, if you're old, but you're new here, you should definitely be listening. Is you get value by not just sitting behind your computer and it's like staring at this person who's talking about his cleaning business. But you know what you do is you look at the other cleaning business on here and you compliment them. First off, that's how you always create relationships. Is you say what Marie said to me is like, listen, you got a haircut. Like all it means is I see you, right? Attention. The greatest thing you can give somebody is not money. It is not a gift. It is their attention. 100% of people value attention. That's the greatest gift you can give anybody, right? And so what you guys can do is you can compliment your fellow cleaning business owners and start to build a relationship with them. That's where you get the most from these, okay? Also, you can be in the chat and you can interact, like what Bobby says. You can interact. You can ask questions. You can say something like when I say something that makes sense or you like, type in the chat, right? Or ask a question and somebody else will engage with you, right? Or say, hey, Jacinta, like what's going on, girl? I haven't seen you for a while, right? Or good to see you. Hey, who's here for the first time? Silver, I've never seen your name before. Like, welcome to the party. Like, be friendly. Be freaking friendly. Right? So especially you OGs, like Renee Krause, who's been on here every single time, right? And Marie Jed. Like, make sure you guys are friendly to the new people. Like, those are the people who eventually you can mentor. Right? And the more that you're able to coach people, the better you get. So just understand that's like, I'm cheating. I'm here coaching you guys, but I'm the one who gets the most from this. Sorry, but I do, right? Because I'm the one who's the most engaged. I'm the one who's here. I'm the one who's talking. I'm the one who's saying, who sees all the people and what they're saying. Okay. So you guys can also do that. Like take advantage of this. Like take some of this tailwind that's been created and like use it. Use it for yourself. Be a little selfish. Be a little selfish by giving. It's kind of funny how it works. Be selfish by giving. Right? Give. Yeah. That is a great emoji. I've never seen that emoji before, Bobby. It's really good. Okay. So with that being said, I'm actually going to share something with you guys. So I told a couple of you guys this, like I'm not actually listening to podcasts or anything. I'm very focused on like learning by doing, right? And but this morning I have had multiple people send me a podcast, and I'm going to share that with you guys because maybe you guys is my screen still shared or did I unshare it? Oh, I unshared it. Okay. Oops. Where did this go? I gotta. It was into Katie. I lost this now. Dang it, Logan. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is.
If you're a business owner, then animated explainer videos are the best way to capture attention, get more followers, and drive more sales. They're engaging, they're
because a lot of people don't know what it looks like at scale. Like you have to bring in.
Okay. Does anybody know who this guy is? Anyone heard of her or him? Alex, never heard of her before. Does anyone know who this guy is? Anybody? Bueller. Okay, cool. Well, if you guys don't know who Alex is, one of the smartest humans. I would just say in general, like he gets a lot of acumen for business, but he really is very smart in lots of elements in lots of areas in life. But with that being said, I kept getting this podcast sent to me because in this podcast he references Kitty and I, and so I'm gonna let him share the story of what the cleaning business is. The most important thing you guys can get from this is understanding what business you're in. You're not in the cleaning business, and let me let Alex explain. Okay.
In. And so one of our gym owners from way back when we had Gym Launch was a successful gym owner, and he started making money with his gyms, and so he started buying Airbnbs, and so that was kind of like his investment strategy. So he started buying Airbnbs in his local area, and what ended up happening was he was like, you know what, if I can drive margins up by just cleaning the houses myself instead of outsourcing the cleaning. And so because if you have an Airbnb, especially daily rentals, like the cleaning is actually a pretty big part of the business. And so he started hiring his own cleaning staff and doing the cleaning. But he was like, wow, you know what? This cleaning business, I could start cleaning for other Airbnbs, right? And so he starts cleaning for other Airbnbs, and he's like, okay, this is actually a business. And so he used all the stuff he knew from running his gym, which he knew how to market and sell because that's the real business you're in when you're in the gym business. And so he starts marketing and selling it. And I had dinner with him probably a year into the business, and he was like, and so I said, okay, give me LTV, give me CAC, like how's it work? He's like, oh, LTV is insane, people never cancel, and CAC is like $6. And I was like, oh my God, like, why are you not making gazillions of dollars? He's like, the issue is actually talent. It's actually getting people who clean houses, who show up on time and do a good job and don't steal and speak English and communicate with customers. He's like, that's actually the issue. And it was right in that moment I was like, oh, this business isn't like the other business he was in. This isn't a gym business, even though it's a local business, even though it's service. If you're in the cleaning business, you're not in the marketing and sales business, because selling someone on let me clean your house and do this stuff for you, not that hard, right? And getting people to opt in for cleaning ads, not that difficult. Selling them, not that hard. The hard part is actually delivering on it and getting people who want to do it on a regular basis. So I'll give you an example on the counter side. For gyms, getting talent, getting trainers, getting people who are fitness enthusiasts who want to train other people do it for free. Like, people like working out. I'll say people who like working out, let's put it that way. Like there are obviously people who hate working out, but there are people who are fitness enthusiasts. Now, I have not seen a cleaning enthusiast. There's not this this underworld of all these people who are like, man, I'm just a cleaning enthusiast. I mean, there are maybe some people, but the vast majority of people see it as a chore, right? And so getting talent for gyms is not hard. Getting talent for cleaning, much harder. And so once we started walking through this, I was like, oh, you're in the recruiting and training business. And I just saw his whole eyes change. I was like, okay, think about it like this. You know how to acquire customers. You have to market, you generate leads, you work the leads, you have a sales call, and then you onboard them, and then you retain them and you send them. I was like, we need to flip that. And so you need to think about, what is my acquisition for talent? How do I generate leads and applications for talent? Instead of sales, how do I interview? Instead of onboarding customers, how do I onboard a new employee? And how do I train them so that they can be proficient, so that I can then manage or ascend them up inside of the organization? And so as soon as he flipped that, he took the business from, I think it was like $30,000 or $40,000 a month to over $150,000 a month in the next 12 months. And it was just that idea of, oh, this is the big, hairy problem I have to solve. And so every business has a big, hairy problem. And this has just been my own experience, is that because I'm probably just a ninny or an idiot, I only learn about it once I get into it. And so as a recommendation, if you are going to enter into a new marketplace, talk to people who are in it and ask them what the hardest part of their business is. And so I'll give you two more examples of this, and then I'll transition to kind of why I think this is important overall. So a lot of people who follow me just because they're in the consulting or the coaching or the information or the education space, because I talk about that stuff a lot. Now, the thing is if you're in that space, what business do you think you're in? Now, you have to learn how to market and sell. That's any business, right? But if you want to make it big, look at the biggest consulting firms, professional service businesses in the world. What are they? You look at McKinsey, you look at Bain, you look at Ernst & Young, look at KPMG, you look at the biggest firms, accounting, you look at law, look at consulting. What are they? They're recruiting machines. And it's because they know how to attract talent, train talent, and make people more valuable, and they get the best and brightest people. And so the reason that people can't, quote, scale in these information coaching, et cetera, businesses is because they have one talented person, which is the guru, and then they hire a bunch of minions or people who are not even close to as good as that person, and then over time what happens is it dilutes the level of service. And it's a service-based business. And so people are like, man, this thing sucks, or this guy sucks, or this business sucks. But McKinsey, Bain, BCG, EY, those are built on the principle of how do we continue to raise the bar, how do we get better, brighter, smarter people, and how do we train them better than anyone else in a faster way so we can get better returns on human capital, as in the people themselves. How do we get better returns on the humans? And so that's the fundamental arbitrage if you're in a service-based business where you sell expertise, is the return on the arbitrage between what you pay somebody and what you can charge for that person's expertise. Now, the difficulty in that business is that when you train someone and they become really exceptional, they become really smart, what do they have? They have opportunities to leave. They can take those clients with them. And so there's a reason that most of these professional service firms at scale become partnerships. They become LLPs. So I become a partner at McKinsey. I become a partner at the law firm. I become a partner at the accounting firm. Because if you have a ton of very, very smart, motivated people, they eventually will leave to start their own business, or you have to show them a path where they can become an owner within the business they're in. And this is just playing it out. And so this is why I bring this up, because a lot of people don't know what it looks like at scale. Like, you have to bring in very intelligent people and have a system or incentive process that gives them a taste in the long run, so that the opportunity or the risk-adjusted return of them leaving versus them staying, it still makes more sense for them to stay, or at least for a good portion of them to stay. Now, I'll give you one more example, and then I'll flip it to why I think this is important in terms of identifying this for your own.
Okay. So, a couple things in there, right? What business are we in? Put it in the chat. What business are we in? Oh, yeah. Katie said it. That's the big hairy monster, right? That's it. And he's right. Like, that's the reason that our business exploded. Once we understood that that was the thing that we were tackling, we went all in. And so we were able to go from 30,000 to 100, over 100,000. Not quite 150. Not yet, Alex, but close, right? So, super cool, right? Just understanding like what problem or what business we're actually in. Okay. But the second thing he said, this is the part that why I wanted to put this in between the Mesa and the Bozeman vision, because he talked about people, right? We become recruiting machines. We want amazing people. And when you find amazing humans, Like, and they have these skill sets. Like, what's stopping them from just go doing their own thing? And what he said right at the very end is like super important. And this is something that we've done with Bozeman, is that we've given them opportunity to move into the organization into a ownership position, right? And so now as we transition into the Bozeman vision sheet, let me pop this one open here for us. You guys will notice, you guys have been on here before, that this Bozeman vision sheet, it looks a little bit different than the Mesa one does, okay? And that's because with this location, we have a general manager who runs this location. And she's incentivized based on profit, because she gets 20% of the profits go to her. So she's getting paid like an owner, okay? And there's I'll just leave it at that. Like we have further ways to make her let her know that like she's just as much an owner as Katie and I are. And until those things happen, then I'll just leave it at that. But right now she gets 20% of all the profits on top of her salary.